Hey guys, welcome back. So earlier we talked about some of like the basic tools you might need, and well, I can go over that list again. So what we picked out was a pocket knife, flashlight, hammer, and well, specifically a like carpentry style claw hammer. We also talked about adjustable wrench, screwdrivers, just show those on the camera, and we talked a little bit about long nose pliers. So with that being said, again, the reason for those tools is like general maintenance stuff, general home repair like stuff. Again, there's other tools you're gonna need, obviously, but this is kind of just to get you started. So if you haven't watched the first video, I kind of recommend it. I mean, you kind of get the gist just from watching this video. But as I was saying, like, you're gonna need more information probably. So in the future, I'm gonna do videos on the other kinds of tools, their nuance, and even show you how to use them. So stay tuned, subscribe if you want, and watch those future videos because I think they're going to be helpful. But with that baseline of tools out of the way, we talked about pliers a little bit, and really the world of pliers is really complicated. There's a whole lot of different kinds of pliers that do a whole lot of different kinds of things, but the next tool is going to be another kind of pliers. So everyone's heard of these probably. If not, you probably live under a rock where you don't know anything about tools at all. But you have the Channellock pliers. The reason for these, and these are actual Channellocks, they're just really old. The reason for this is it does some of the things as the adjustable wrench, just kind of in a different way. So you can adjust it with these channels that you see here. It's also called a tongue and groove. So you have your tongue, which is on, you can see it on this side, that kind of curved piece right here. And then you have your channels. Zoom in a little bit on that so you can see it. They're called tongue and groove pliers. They're called water pump pliers. But Channellock, the brand that designed this, we call those just Channellocks, really. But here's the thing, though. You don't just have Channellocks anymore. You also have the Knipex water pump pliers. You have a whole world of that style plier, and we're going to talk about that too. But the reason for these style tools is, well, plumbing. I can probably see some kind of HVAC. You have plenty of automotive, heavy equipment. There's all kinds of reasons to have some Channellocks. So if you got everything else and you don't know another tool to get at first, I would get not necessarily these, although I do like these. I would probably honestly just get the classic. They're made in the USA Channellocks. They're not really expensive. I think the true Channellock 440s like this, but brand new, is like $20. So you're really not spending a whole lot, but what you get, and I'll show in the future, a whole lot. Alright, so we talked about the water pump plier category. The next thing I'll probably talk about is Allen keys. So this is not a complete set, but Allen keys, which are, I'll pull the big one out so you can see easier. They are just like this hex-shaped head. And they're used to turn different kinds of screws. Then you have a bunch of different sizes. I would get a set of these just because the sheer amount of stuff, even just home stuff that you're going to be using these for, it will come in handy. It'll also come in handy in automotive. There's a little bit of nuance with these, but not really. I can probably talk about it in another video, but I can probably shorten it up here. You have your metrics and you have your standards. These are standards. You can probably use them for both if you have like something that's close. The problem that you're going to run into is you might round something out. So I recommend getting the right size for whatever you're working on. IKEA furniture, well, they usually give you an Allen key, but it's usually not a great one. So if you have one of these handy, you can at least work on that too. Alright, so with that being said, I feel like I need to go into ratchets and sockets. So I brought this little impact. You don't want to impact probably if you're not doing any kind of serious work. And I can get to that in a socket video. But you need a set of sockets. These are impacts. The non-impacts are usually chrome, not always, but usually. And you want a ratchet. Now you can usually get these in a set, and really you can probably get ratchets, sockets, and an adjustable wrench in a set. Although, kind of going back on the first video, I would try to get a 10-inch. I don't think I said that in there, but I'll try to get a 10-inch, and then if you have a like mechanic tool set that you buy or get that has the ratchet and socket set, it comes with a, say, small adjustable wrench. That's not a big deal. Having multiple is not a bad thing. And there's a huge world of sockets and wrenches and all that, and again, we can talk about that in another video. But to kind of keep it brief, you probably are okay with this style first if you're not doing any serious work. But if you plan on getting into some kind of serious work, I don't know, I can't get this to. There you go. If you're not doing any kind of serious work, you probably don't need something like this. However, having something like this is really nice. Just because the longer handle gets you more leverage, more torque, etc., etc. Going off of that, kind of the next thing I feel like, if you're going in order again, and I have a hard time when I get to this part every time I try to film this so far. I'd probably go with the drill. Really could probably throw this up in the front if you know you're going to be doing carpentry work and you already have the hammer. You could probably throw this right before or right after the crescent wrench, or even put the crescent wrench behind the screwdrivers. But anyways, so I mean, this is just a Craftsman. I have a Milwaukee somewhere. But a drill, you can use it to do a lot of work. Milwaukee's right behind the camera. I was staring right at it. You could probably get away with something like this. Cheap, inexpensive, but I've had this one for years. This is more powerful, bigger battery, bigger drill. And you see the size difference. But you can use this for a lot of things. You can use it for drilling holes, drilling metal. You can use it for drilling metal. You can use it for driving screws. You can use it for all kinds of things. It's not a bad tool to have, and it's the only powered tool that I say you probably should have. And in the future we can get into other kinds of power tools like this stubby impact. But for now, let's focus on drills. Then you can also use this as like a nut driver too. You can get attachments. I don't know if I have one at the table here. I thought I did. Anyways, you can get like a attachment that screws onto here. You can lock it on, and you can put sockets onto it, and you can use this as a driver. So you can break something loose, use this to drive it out, use it to drive it in, and there you go. So where am I at? So I talked about water pump pliers, sockets, and ratchets, which I consider that one. You can consider it two. I consider it one. I don't have any wrenches up here. That's the problem. I was going off what I can see. So here is, there we go. Here is the next kind of tool I'd recommend you get, is a set of combination wrenches. You don't need ratcheting, you don't need the fancy bitey grips. I would recommend you just start off with a good solid pair of combination wrenches. Metric, I would recommend you get metric and standard, but if you know you're going to be doing more work on one versus the other, you're more likely going to need just metric, but I recommend both. And I can explain why later, but combination wrenches. Alright. And those, again, they're going to come in handy. They're going to pair really nicely with this, so if you're only using wrenches on a job, you can lock this on one nut, you can use the other wrench on the other side, and you could use the other one. I'll explain in a different video, but you can use them to work together, so you don't need two of the 15/16ths. You can have literally the adjustable and the combination wrench. That's why I was saying this first, and then you can get these later, because universal versus specific. Okay, we're getting close to the end here, so I'm just trying to do 14 tools, I think. So knives, hammers, flashlights, lighter, I counted lighter, which, yeah, adjustable wrenches, long nose pliers, water pump pliers, drills, sockets, and ratchet, wrench. So I need 4 more if I'm going to do 14. If you're doing any kind of oil changes, or if you're doing PVC piping or anything, I would get this. Again, the idea is you're trying to be self-reliant. If you're doing a oil change on your vehicle, which you should at least every 3,000, well, some maybe sooner, but you probably shouldn't go past 15,000 miles, and you should be doing that oil change yourself if you have the means and you're not getting an oil change for free. You can get something like this. I know my t-shirt's black, was not a great option for filming, but it is what it is. So you can use this. I mean, this one's like a self-adjusting. You have some that are like slip joints, and you have Channellock brand. I was actually using that at work earlier today. That's almost like this, except you replace the top and bottom jaws with these. It actually worked really well. I was able to get a big truck oil filter up with it, and I didn't think I was going to. But you should get one of these. They're good for PVC piping, as I was kind of saying earlier. Oil filters, fuel filters, anything round that you can't really grab by hand. You can get this on there that you might not be able to get your Channellocks on. So it's a good one to have. So that's 11. I'm about to pull some stuff out of my butt. Never mind, I remembered this one. a file. I think everyone needs to get a file. And the reason being is you can do some rough sharpening of your knife if you need to. You can do some rough sharpening for your axes and hatchets. You can re-straighten teeth. You can kind of, if you rounded off a bolt, it'd take a while, but you could in theory kind of get another flat on there and try to do the other side, and then maybe get a wrench on that single, or I guess those parallel sides that you file down. Again, it would take a while, but this, you could use this to save yourself in a few situations. Sharpening lawnmower blades. There's a lot of uses for this that you might not think about, and it can save you some money. So I recommend getting one. So I'm at 12 now. Picks. Let's talk about some picks real fast. So picks, they can come in 90 degrees. This is a snap-on. But picks are great for oils or oil O-rings. They're great for cleaning up dirt and debris, etc. And then, I mean, this is a mini pry bar, so don't think this is the size you need, but a mini pry bar also. You don't want to use your screwdriver, you use a pry bar. And battery's about to die again, I'm running out of time. Again, guys, with all these tools, I'm going to try to do a video on each separate family, but this can probably help you get started if maybe you were thinking about a tool you need. Look here. Go off this list. I hope this helps.